start the second National Electronic Public Procurement Conference, CNCE 17, at the Complutense University's Medicine Faculty. For this opening ceremony, we're going to hear from Mr. Javier Sevillano Martín, the Deputy President, the Vice President of the University for Economic Planning and Resource Management, in representation of the Rector of the President, and also from Pablo García Manzano Jiménez de Andrade, the Undersecretary of State for the Ministry of Energy, Tourism and the Digital Agenda, and lastly, Rafael Díaz Regañón García Alcalá, the Director General of Resources and Management from the Federation of Municipalities and Provinces. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the President of the University, I want to welcome everyone to the conference, and I hope that you feel comfortable, that you feel at home, because it is everyone's home here at the Complutense University, and this is just an inauguration. An important thing is to get started, so I'll give the floor now to Mr. Pablo García Manzano, the Undersecretary of State, who's in charge of all the digital agenda matters. Pablo, thank you very much, Javier, and my thanks to the University, to the Rector, and the Rafael from the FEMP, and the organisers of the event. I also want to extend a welcome to all the participants, and José Luis Aristegui, who, along with all the other from Vortal and all the other sponsors who are quite rightly supporting this event, because it's a very important event, and for many years to come will continue to be important for the public sector to have electronic procurement. And as Javier said, this is just an inauguration, so I'll be very brief, and I'm only going to take up 2 minutes of your time. Apart from expressing our gratitude, I also want to say that with regard to the progress of electronic procurement, or e-procurement, in Spain at the moment, you already know the situation. I'm not going to overwhelm you with data. How the public sector is thinking about e-procurement, and also what we're thinking about doing in the Ministry of Energy, Tourism and Digital Agenda. The topics on the CNCE 17 conference are going to be very extensive, and our new directive is going to encourage all sorts of electronic procurement in a great many areas. And for me, the novelties is not so much, and this is a personal view, with regard to the furtherance of resources. It's how the data are processed and how long it takes, and the efficiency and pricing of these processing. It's not so much the size anymore. The administration is not talking about size in order to be able to manage data. It's simply a matter of efficiency and effectiveness. We have to be able to provide the resources that ensure optimal processing. As I say, in the subsequent round tables academics, I'll deal with this topic again with the new Procurement Act, which is currently before Parliament. And if you'll forgive me now, I'll skip this part of the Directive 1314 and talk about other topics today. What the public administrations are doing, and this conference is particularly devoted to regional and local levels as well. So I'm speaking on behalf of the ministry now, and I'd like to say first of all that the Resources Board now operates completely through digital media with specific modules for different areas. We've processed over 1,000 case files which are totally computerized. These advances are important because all the documentation is time-stamped, and in addition the documents submitted are impossible to edit, as you know. This is very important with regard to the requirements of electronic procurement, because this with technologies and the legal aspects of contracts and the
ha iniciado la licitación electrónica a través de la plataforma y a través del acuerdo marco 26, 2015. Al igual que estamos con el 16, previsto que dure este operativo hasta el 31 de julio del 18, que está también empezado. Y algunos datos al respecto.
Some data. The Ministry of Energy, Industry and Digital Agenda is now dealing with electronic processes in this area. We've got a catalogue 26 of companies that are already registered and don't need to submit any information again or attend public openings. 35 case files have been processed. It's in this new format. We've got 200 invitations have been sent out and over 180 proposals have been received. 71% of those invited to attend and 27 of them have been evaluated. And the department also organises a public opening of the tender bids, and it's possible to request additional information. It's not happened yet, it's not been needed. And as I said before, from a technical perspective, this offers a lot of guarantee about the safekeeping of the bids and shortens the time spans for these proceedings. The procurement electronic resources in Spain are going to allow us to advance greatly, and in the local and regional administrations too. I'm sure it will be even more so. And from the ministry, we're going to help to drive this and facilitate this type of procedure. Let me conclude by congratulating the organisers on the timeliness of this second CNCE conference and welcoming all the participants in the same. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pablo. And it's clear that the efforts that the Ministry is doing to drive e-procurement, and this is obviously very important for the public administrations. And we're accompanied also by the Director General for Resources and Management from the Federation of Spanish Municipalities and Provinces, Rafael Díaz García Alcalá. My thanks first of all to the organisers for allowing us to participate in this second edition of the CNCE. I also want to thank the university for hosting this conference, and my greetings to the Under-Secretary of State as well. What we're dealing with here is the start of a conference that's intended to analyse e-procurement. It deals with a lot of aspects, too many aspects to sum them up in a few words. But the biosynthesis between man and machine has always allowed society to advance, and in the face of difficulties, mankind has tried to find new tools to make life easier and make work more efficient and more effective. As a result, science and technology have made a decisive contribution to the improvement of human habitats. And in the area of the FEMP, we're talking about cities and towns through what we consider to be smart cities. But there is something that I think at least must evolve at the same time, and that is that while the digital transformation has converted the relationships between human beings, we have not yet managed to implement a kind of tool inside an organization that structurally is able to withstand change. In general, and in this case, public organizations are organizations that arose at the end of the 19th century, they've survived the 20th century, and they've entered the 21st century with the same type of structure as before. So that, in philosophical terms, the way I see it, they have changed very little the relationship between the citizens and the organization. However, we have managed to change the tools with which we provide the services. We've changed the tools from one set of characteristics to another set of tools, but in conceptual terms, the operation of the organization, as I see it, still lacks modernization. We're not yet in the right place. However, the implementation of technology in the administrative setting for procurement and other types of administrative actions for local corporations and the public administrations in general are certainly helping to reach that symbiosis that will help us to have a much more dynamic and simpler relationship on the basis of the technological tools available. Peter Drakel indicated that there is a cost to efficiency, and the FEMP certainly agrees with that idea of ELSA-VIN, and the organisation that we have includes multiple committees related to the local administrations and their activities, and there are some specifically devoted to ICT and modernisation of these organisations with a view to understanding exactly what needs the local authorities have in order to implement that transformation. We must remember that the organisations making up the local town councils and regional corporations offer a great disparity between a large city and a very small town. But when you develop rules and regulations, they don't differentiate between the specific needs of a city like Madrid and a small town in the mountains of Cuenca province. So that's one of the things that the FEMP, as a representative of the municipality process, tries to resolve in order to generate a smoother symbiosis between the public administration and the citizens it strives to serve, particularly in smaller townships. So I hope that today's events will be fruitful with your discussions and that you have lots of useful material. And we'll hear about the conclusions about how things develop in the course of the day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rafael. And very briefly now, on behalf of the rector, as I said before, I want to welcome you all to this Ramón y Cajal Auditorium in the main building of the Medicine faculty, the largest of the 100 buildings in the university. I hope you feel at home. Some of you may well be former students of the university, and we hope that your alma mater is able to welcome you adequately. The Complutense University in Madrid is a public institution, as you know, and extremely interested with the conclusions of this event. I'm very grateful to the organisation for having organised this event and to face the challenge that we have ahead. The very numerous challenges facing us today. What's going to happen with the new procurement law, the Procurement Act? Is it going to be passed or not? What's going to happen with the electronic auctions and tendering processes with the new legislation, as the Undersecretary of State has said? Are we going to be able to adapt to this type of public procurement and different electronic processes and adapt to the different systems that will allow us to contrast experiences? This is one of the key methods to achieving that. But I don't want to hold up the proceedings, because the important thing is to listen to the speakers and to share ideas. So please feel at home. Our obligation here, and my position as the person responsible for economic planning and resource management, is to provide you with all the resources you need. And I hope in this sense that today is a very fruitful day for all of you. Welcome, and I wish on behalf of the rector and the governing bodies of the UCM, I hope that you have very fruitful results for all of you. Thank you very much. So the conference is hereby inaugurated, which is what we're all here for.